In today's video, hiring the top network security engineers who are task mature, understand your industry, and the network within your organization. The network being the entire backbone of your organization's communications, sensitive personal information, operations, and data that's integral to the future of your organization and its survival. You need to safeguard this in the best way possible, which means adopting a solid security framework and a strong security posture to defend against threat actors. So you're hiring a network security engineer and you know they need to take on important network-based roles to help your organization with its security posture. Today, I want to take a deep dive into what those roles are. For the past 45 years, Procom has been sourcing expert talent across industries in cybersecurity, specifically to help organizations get security projects done on time with a hybrid workforce that's specifically customized to your organization's security needs. Let's jump into the roles. As you know, one of the most important things network security engineers manage and take charge of is your organization's firewalls. Firewalls police traffic entering and exiting a network. Now, this is very much the traditional sense because today it's next generation firewalls that everyone's talking about. It's next generation firewalls that will defend against the threat actors. And these next generation firewalls, well, they're important across all industries, are important in specific ones like banking and capital markets, or even the gaming sector. And we'll take a deeper dive into next-gen firewalls shortly. But for now, to give you an overview, the use and management of firewalls is one of the most important things that your organization needs to think about, and you need the right expert that can oversee the security structure, but also update documentation so that any changes that are made, any new configurations that are implemented, they need to be reflected, they need to be communicated. So you need an experienced network security engineer who not only knows how to oversee and audit the process, how to implement it, but also how to communicate it, and communicate it across departments in a way that limits risks. And of course, within that role, we can get into so much more, like the nitty-gritty, SSL decryption. Secure Socket Layer, SSL, is a security protocol that encrypts data sent between a website and a browser. But SSL decryption, most importantly, looks at taking that apart and inspecting it to analyze for cybersecurity threats. And doing this is quite complex. It means you have to have done it at least a few times in several different use cases. So when Procom sources talent, we think about that. We think about powering performance within your organization. We recommend you look for these things. Ask yourself, in hiring this network security engineer, are they able to perform SSL decryption if it's necessary? And do they understand things like Layer 7 application inspection, which could be very important to your organization? Now, Layer 7 inspection is very specific because it targets only the application layer. And it's the application layer where we're examining things like headers and other application-specific data, URLs for application recognition, routing, and even policy enforcement. So you get an idea of how holistic this role is and how experienced this professional or these professionals need to be. There's also more complex things like antivirus signatures, natting, IPsec tunnels, but all that for later. Now let's stay on next generation firewalls for just a second. In banking and capital markets, next generation firewalls are important and they're being used. The reason being they perform deep packet inspection. They also prevent intrusion and they perform advanced threat detection. These firewalls are more sensitive, they can be better configured, and they're modernized to defend against the latest cyber threats. Having a network security engineer will make sure that the entire process is mapped. Not only the documentation, but the diagrams exist in the typical fashion and format. With those SOPs, with those frameworks, with the constant communication, holistically, your organization will be adept and prepared with a strong security posture. We understand hiring network security engineers isn't easy. Getting them to understand the framework that already exists and is likely quite complex, or a framework that doesn't quite exist and doesn't have the correct documentation. Either way, they need to know what to do the moment you onboard them and at least take charge of the process to save you time and to provide a return on investment. When you're recruiting your next network security engineer, trust Procom, the people that power performance.